Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. In this episode we're gonna continue what we started talking about home automation, and in this special episode we're gonna talk about the three main categories, describing the advantages and disadvantages of each and every one, and then probably we're gonna go into some further details regarding each and every one of them. So starting with the DYI, or do yourself in, it's a project that you do it yourself. You're gonna buy some components from the market and you connect and you configure it in the way you want. This has some advantages, like it's affordable. You can buy depending on your budget. So for sure, there is a range of things in the market. You can buy the most expensive one, the less expensive one, so it depends on your budget. But again, it's affordable. Customizable, because you are doing the system yourself, so you have the ability to customize it in the way you want. Expandability as well, so you have the ability to expand it because it's your own system. You build it yourself. But there are some disadvantages. One of the main disadvantages is the technical expertise that you require to have before start working on such projects. So you need to have some technical expertise, and again, depending on how you're gonna do things. Compatibility. Your system is not necessarily gonna be compatible with other systems because you are bringing things from different places, from the local market, and it's not necessarily be compatible with each other. Reliability. Your system is supposed to be reliable, but you are not working in the same model like companies. For the companies, they have a lot of people, they have a lot of investment to do quality assurance, but you, as an individual, you do things yourself, each and everything. So probably you're gonna have some reliability issues. The second type is the general purpose. The general purpose is something that you buy from the market, but not as a system that you build it yourself. It's already built, but probably it just needs to be configured in an easy way. There are some advantages of buying such system, like affordability. Again, it's affordable to a certain extent. Probably if you buy something more expensive, it's not affordable for sure, but we are talking in general. So these general purpose systems are not so expensive compared with the special purpose systems. Compatibility is an advantage here because the company build all of these components, all of their components, and they make sure that they are compatible with each other. And as I said, they make sure that quality assurance is passed, they have no problem in compatibility, and they have no problem in reliability, which is an important point as well. So the system is supposed to be reliable because it's already built and checked by the company. You don't need to have a lot of technical experience in this regard because usually they do it in a way which is plug and play, so easy. But again, we might have some disadvantages in this regard. Customization probably have some limitations, so it's not necessarily that the system is customizable in the way you want. Probably you're gonna find that it is limited to a certain extent. Expandability as well. Expansion is not an advanced, let's say the system is not advanced enough to be expandable easily. So you are limited to what is being offered by the vendor. And the third type is the special purpose. And we might have, again, some advantages and some disadvantages. For the advantages, customization is possible, but by the vendor, because this system is going to be installed by a company which is doing a site survey for your home. They check each and every room and they customize their system depending on your needs. So it's customizable, but for your own case and by the vendor. It's expandable as well, but by the vendor, not by you. It should be reliable because it's a company. As I said, they put a lot of investment to check quality assurance each and every point in their system. You don't need to be a technical expert to have such a system, because these companies, they are doing things themselves. They do each and every detail regarding the system. Again, there are some disadvantages. The big disadvantage is the cost, because it's customized for your own home. It is not a general purpose. Compatibility with other vendors is an issue as well, because such companies, they are not interested in having the compatibility with other systems. They want to build things for their own components, not for others. And customization here is going to be expensive, and probably expandability in the future is going to be expensive as well. So these are the main three categories of home automation systems, and we're going to talk about each one of them in some further details. So let's start our first DYI project, and in this project we're going to need a hardware. I recommend using a Raspberry Pi 4. It's a powerful device, a mini computer in the credit card size, and it has many features. And by the way, there are several models, or let's say products similar to this one from different companies, but still this is one of the best in the market. Raspberry Pi 4 contains a 40-pin general purpose input-output port, gigabit Ethernet port, 2 USB 3 ports, 2 USB 2 ports, 4-pole stereo audio, 2 micro HDMI ports, USB-C port for power supply. This is very interesting, and make sure that power supply is driving this motherboard with at least 3 amps. So it should be capable of delivering at least 3 amps at 5 volts. And we have the micro SD card slot. The Raspberry Pi and similar microcomputers work on the concept that you build everything on this micro SD card, the operating system, and you put all the files there, and then you boot it from this micro SD card, and that's it. You're gonna have a fully configured system as long as you have everything there configured well on the SD card. If you change your mind and you prefer to install a different operating system, or to put a different files, or to make a backup, you're gonna just insert a new one with a new operating system, a new file system, and that's it, and restart it from this new micro SD. If you want to make a backup, you just copy it. So it's very easy. You don't need to do anything else. You just remove it and install a new one, and insert a new one. In addition, this microcomputer contains 2.4 and 5 gigahertz wireless, and we have a Bluetooth 5 as well. So in terms of connection with the internet, you have the option to connect via wireless or via the cable connection. And now checking what is there in the market. Let's take an Amazon, for example. We can find the motherboard by this price in USD, but this is only the motherboard. If you have everything else, you just need this one, which is so affordable. But if you are new and you don't have the power supply, you don't have the cover, you don't have anything, I prefer to check another model. I'm gonna show you the other model as well. So let's take a look on what is there. It's only the motherboard. So these are the USB 3 and USB 2 and the Ethernet connection. This is the top view, bottom view. Okay, let's check another model. It's again Raspberry Pi 4 with 4 GB of RAM, but this one contains some additional accessories. And by the way, these accessories are not easy to find. So by this small difference in the price, you're gonna get a lot of things which are very important to start your first project. So this is the motherboard, again the same motherboard, and here we have a neat cover. It's nice to have the motherboard inside this cover, which is really fitting all the ports. You have a fan and you have heat sinks. By the way, these heat sinks are not provided with Raspberry Pi, so you have to buy them, and they're supposed to be compatible with the model that you buy. And very important piece here is the power supply, which is, this model is really fitting the minimum requirements to have the best performance of the Raspberry Pi. We have the HDMI cable, very nice power switch to switch it on or off. What else? We have a USB reader for the micro SD. So this is important because as we said, you're gonna take the micro SD card, install everything, install the operating system and everything from your computer, and then remove it and plug it inside the Raspberry Pi. So you're gonna have all of these things by something around $100. Another model, this one, it has less accessories with the lower price, so it depends on what you have. It just have an HDMI cable, power switch, power supply, a fan, and heat sinks. If you are interested in building electronics projects, I recommend checking this product. It contains many accessories that it's not easy to find them one by one in the market. So this product combines many of these pieces in a single package, which is an affordable one. So you have a lot of electronic components, cables, keypad, breadboard, and even some instruction manuals. Very interesting. And by the way, you're gonna find all the models of Raspberry Pi, but still we recommend using Raspberry Pi 4 Model B. And in addition to the microcomputer, we need to have the connectivity with our IoT system. The connectivity is going to be done using this Z-Stick. So I recommend using Z-Stick Gen 5 Plus, and make sure that it is compatible with Raspberry Pi 4, because the old releases are not really compatible. They have some compatibility issue with the USB port of the Raspberry Pi. It can be resolved easily, but instead of going into this headache, it's much better to buy the new Z-Stick, which is supporting Raspberry Pi 4, because the old one supports Raspberry Pi 3. It can support Raspberry Pi 4, but with some modifications. Just in case you have such a trouble, you can just leave a comment. I'm gonna guide you on how to solve it. So you need to buy this piece as well, and then you have a microcomputer, you have the Z-Stick. So let's go and check what to do with them. With Raspberry Pi, usually they provide their own operating system, but at this step we don't need to install the Raspberry Pi operating system, because we are specifically using this for our IoT project. So we're gonna have the operating system being installed from this site, from OpenHub. So you go to www.openhub.org and go to download and check Raspberry Pi and look for the stable version. There are different versions, but you just need the stable one. You have three options actually to install your operating system on your micro SD card, but I prefer following option 1, and it is by the way, it's the recommended one by the OpenHub as well. You can install the operating system using the manual installation, but there are some advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is you can have the Raspberry Pi as a hardware, or let's say as a microcomputer, and you can use it for your IoT and for some other applications. So you have the full features of the Raspberry Pi to be used for something else as well. But as a microcomputer, it has a limited capability to process many things at the same time. So you're gonna realize that you have some troubles, some hang up, and you need to restart it from time to time. So the best is to install this or to follow this option 1. In this option, they provide you with everything. So you just need to download the Etcher application. The Etcher is an application that you use to burn the data, or let's say to insert the operating system from your PC to the micro SD card, and then you download an image. It's called OpenHabian image from this location, and here is the latest one. And then you write the image on your SD card using the application that I mentioned. And then after you finish everything, you take the SD card and insert it into your Raspberry Pi and restart it. Before restarting the Raspberry Pi, you have one of two options: either to connect it to the Ethernet or to configure Wi-Fi. Both of them are applicable, but I still recommend connection to the Ethernet cable because it's easier at this step, and then you can do the configuration of the Wi-Fi later on. It's not taking a lot of time, so probably between 15 to 45 minutes. And then that's it. You're gonna have everything ready with your OpenHabian system on your SD card, which is supported by your Raspberry Pi hardware, and you're gonna be ready for your first project using OpenHab application. So follow these instructions, and then we're gonna have some further details on what to do with OpenHab in order to build our first IoT system. So stay tuned, and let's talk about some further details in the future episodes. Thank you.